Hey, Tom.
Hey, JC.
What's happening, buddy?
Just sitting back watching some classic wrestling. 1988 AWA wrestling.
I was going to say, it wouldn't be an episode of Cheaters Never Pin if you weren't watching something random off the network in the background.
I like to keep the people updated. So we've got Baron von Raschke, who I think here is about 84 years old, wrestling Sheik Adnan LKC, who was a manager at the time. But and the Baron is a face, and the Baron is also a goose-stepping Nazi.
Oh, good. Seems less appropriate in America than it did a week ago, but still fits.
So, it's always been here.
Yeah. You excited to see all that WWC content that they just bought?
Well, I mean, how can Vince McMahon refuse? It's a company whose owner covered up a murder, so that's kind of who he does business with.
Sick burn, Tom. Timely.
Yeah.
Speaking of shows funded by murderers, we're going to talk about Crown Jewel tonight.
I have no idea what those two things have in common.
No, not at all. We only say that so we can get some of that hot Vision 2020 money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 2030, whatever it is. I don't know. Who cares?
Just as long as the check clears.
Right. We started the Road to Survivor series, the maybe Thanksgiving classic, since the other one doesn't exist anymore.
The gobbledygooker.
Yes. And there's other stuff, too. The Road to Wrestle Kingdom's heating up.
I don't have a odd gimmick for that.
All right. And then a great tournament from the past is returning in 2019.
Oh, I'm excited about that one.
Me too. So we'll talk about all that this week on Cheaters Never Pin. But before we get to that, hey, buddy.
Yeah, JC.
Can you ring the bell?
Sure enough.
You're listening to the Cheaters Never Pin podcast, a proud part of the Section 328 network, bringing you all the best in wrestling from WWE, New Japan, and beyond. Now, live from ringside, it's Mr. Workrate and JC.
Oh, that's right, buddies. We're back here for another episode of the Cheaters Never Pin podcast. My name is JC, and here next to me at the commentary table to the stars is my good buddy, Mr. Workrate, Tom.
A pleasure as always, JC.
Isn't it? This is the highlight of my week. Because it's certainly not Raw or SmackDown or anything else right now.
No. I mean, there's some stuff. 205's not too bad.
That's true. This is my, this time of year, this is like my hour of reality.
And as much as I enjoy this, I have something upcoming this weekend, which I'll plug later.
Ooh. I like that.
A little suspense
That's
there.
A tease.
So. Yeah.
Tom, we should go on the radio with this. We should get this, that would be a great, hit the commercial break right there, or tease it hitting the post going into a song right there.
Yeah.
We're
professionals at this.
Coming up at 8:35. Yeah, I like it. All right.
Traffic and weather.
Every 10 minutes.
On the twos.
Yes. Only on station 32.8.
That's not even a...
Shh. 130. No, still too high. All right, well, Tom, we need to buy new seats in the arena next year. Just so I can make this joke work.
I'm still trying to figure out how to get my radio to 32.8.
I don't have a joke about that. I don't know. Anyway, let's just talk about wrestling. That's our strong suit.
That's what we generally have the most knowledge of.
That's true. So this past Friday, from an undisclosed location, except we know what it was at the some university that I can't remember the name of, Crown Jewel happened. And it was a show that...
Still not sure if it's canon.
I mean, it is.
Did it really happen?
We've now acknowledged that Shane McMahon is the best in the world.
Surprised he didn't say it was clobbering time.
Oh, wow.
Stephanie would have said that.
That's true. Triple H had to have surgery afterwards.
He ripped his tit off.
Oh. Let's see. What else happened? I don't know. Nothing matters. Nothing matters from this show. Because it all ended up with the McMahon family going over.
Shawn Michaels is really bald.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's run down this card.
Okay.
Tom, did you watch this show?
No.
Me neither, so let's run down this card.
God damn it, we have class.
Yeah, some of us have our... Now, I've watched bits and pieces of the top 3 matches. But yeah, that was it. And I actually did see the Bar versus the New Day on my lunch break at work. Because my computer can, for some reason, at my job, can't get to many websites, but it gets to WWEnetwork.com. So someone in our office, our home office, is using the company network for WWE Network. And I appreciate that.
That's why you work for a good company, JC.
Right? The pre-show happened. Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Rusev to retain the U.S. Championship. Cool.
Why would we put that on the actual card?
Right. Because it was already too full. Because neither of them are McMahons.
Neither of them are best in the world.
True. Renee was doing commentary, simply dressed in a black long-sleeve turtleneck.
No lucha mask, as I expected.
Sorry, Renee's been replaced by La Generica. I didn't tell you. Another great segue here. I got my pro wrestling crate for last month.
Right.
And it was all about masked wrestlers.
Ooh.
And I got a Blue Demon Jr. mask.
Oh, cool.
I know. I was stoked, dude. It was, you either got that Mysterio mask. I can't remember what the other one. You just got one randomly. And I got the Blue Demon. I was like, I'm good with this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can get a Rey Mysterio mask anywhere.
Yeah.
But I'll take a Blue Demon mask. Anyway.
I was rocking the El Generico mask at Halloween.
Nice.
Which I haven't shaved in a while, so like the bottom part, the beard was pretty much exploding out of the bottom.
Oh, do we have like full Grizzly Tom right now?
It's decent. We've got
Ooh.
decent bushage.
Be careful how you say that.
Welcome to Cheetahs Never Pin After Dark.
Yes. r/Cheaters Never Pin fanfic. 0 subscribers.
-3 subscribers.
Everything's downvoted, but it only has 3 views. Makes no sense. The show started off with the top 4 quarterfinal matches for the WWE World Cup to determine the best in the world. I'm so glad I don't have to use that phrase much longer after this evening. Rey Mysterio defeated Randy Orton. The Miz defeated Jeff Hardy. Seth Rollins defeated Bobby Lashley. And Dolph Ziggler defeated Kurt Angle. So all the picks I made were completely wrong from the beginning. So that was good. The Miz working an angle the whole time about his throat being sore and him being sick, so he shouldn't have to fight. Which works so well for him.
Yeah. If there's a quality heel on that roster right now, it's The Miz. I mean, and he has been for the last couple of years now.
Mm-hmm. And here's my thing with him, too. Unlike a lot of the heels, people still boo him. Like, they like him, and they appreciate his work, but they won't cheer him.
Because he's not a cool heel.
I know. And I wonder, like, everyone really appreciates his work and like, genuinely loves him as a performer on this roster from a fan perspective, but he's still getting booed. Like, what's the difference between that and, like, say, when a Kevin Owens is there? I don't know how to get Kevin Owens to a Miz level, right? Because Kevin Owens liked even more on, than the Miz.
I mean, Owens was getting booed every once in a while, but I mean, I think too, it's the fact that Owen still has the backstory. Like the fan base, there's a decent amount of the fan base that knows that he came from NXT, that he was wrestling with like Ring of Honor and everything like that. So that hardcore fan base is still going to cheer him regardless. A lot of them still see Miz as the guy from the real world who, you know, was on Tough Enough and pretty much was gifted a WWE spot because he was on MTV.
Because he had personality?
Yeah.
Unlike Bobby Lashley?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
But he's so shiny.
And he smells like money. I swear to God, if I hear Leo Rush. Leo Rush is in full X-Pac heat mode with me right now. Every Monday night. I just have to mute the TV. I can't do it.
But Topanga likes him.
I know. I just can't, dude. I can't do it with him. And it's not like he's making me mad as a good heel. I just cannot stand that little fucker. Like, I'd want to just punt him out of a window.
And that works for some people, though. So,
the Bar retained their SmackDown Tag Team Championships after the New Day entered on an actual magic carpet in Saudi Arabia.
And we're not shot for doing so.
Yeah. So that was a match. That was cool. Big Show was there. He interfered.
Are we surprised that the Saudi Arabian government did not convince Vince McMahon to bring over Hacksaw Jim Duggan?
Why? I'm missing the joke here that you were trying to set me up for.
Because the hacksaw tool.
Oh, God damn it. Okay. All right.
I'm just going to drink a beverage while you continue to talk now.
I was trying to dig deeper into it than just that. Because I was like, what the fuck did they want a 2x4 for? That's the part that confused me. Then we had the World Cup to determine the best in the world semifinal matches. Dolph Ziggler would defeat Seth Rollins, and The Miz would defeat Rey Mysterio. Cool.
Which I remember following, like, I didn't watch the show, but I followed it on social media because, I don't know, part of me was like principal, part of me actually was doing stuff at, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I remember seeing it and going, The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler, that's going to be our main event match? Like, oh, okay.
Little did you know, Tom.
I mean, it would have been an interesting match. I mean, the two of them work pretty well together. So
yeah, they're both really good workers. It would have been fun.
Both from Cleveland.
Totally neat, right? AJ Styles retained his WWE Championship against Samoa Joe. Cool. In a throwaway match that was just booked because Daniel Bryan didn't go. Means absolutely nothing. Then we had the match for the vacant Universal Championship. Once again, Brock Lesnar is your Universal Champion.
In 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
Yeah. What was it, like 5 F5s or something? Just Brock didn't take a bump.
Yeah.
I just... Explain it to me, Tom.
Well, the rumor is now that there's heat on Strowman.
Oh, God, I haven't seen that rumor.
Yeah, that just came across...
What the hell does he have heat for?
Today. Apparently, it's backstage courtesy crap. Like, he leaves too early or he shows up too late. I don't know if he's not shaking the right people's hands. I don't know. It's easy enough to say stuff like that, too, and have it be complete bullshit.
Exactly. But, like, Lesnar again. He's supposed to be gone. He's supposed to be getting ready to fight the champ. I don't understand.
My thing with Lesnar, too, is I thought I thought potentially they didn't want some big coronation to go on in Saudi Arabia. Like, if they wanted Strowman to win the title, and I think Strowman winning the title would have gotten a halfway decent pop. I don't know how much of a pop it would have gotten in Saudi Arabia.
True.
Again, that's why I kind of like joke that, is this really canon? Because these are all like the last time they did this, when they did Greatest Royal Rumble, they did a whole bunch of matches, theoretically a bunch of title matches. No titles were going to change hands because it was kind of done out of the context of all the pay-per-views and everything like that. It was just kind of sandwiched in the middle. So it didn't necessarily mean anything. So that's what I kind of felt that this was too, that they wouldn't have, if Roman had been healthy, that Roman would have kept the belt here.
Oh yeah. We wouldn't be having this discussion. He'd have pinned Strowman and it would have been done. Like, for sure.
But because they had to put the belt on somebody, they had to do a title change over there. And
you still go with Lesnar. And so here's the other rumor that comes out of this. Lesnar's deal was done after this. They had backed up the freaking Brinks truck again because they needed to extend his contract in order to give him this belt. And they knew that the UFC was looming, especially this, Cormier retirement match that was supposed to be on the horizon, which is now in jeopardy. And it doesn't seem like UFC is going to go that route now, given UFC 230. But, that puts Vince in a position to go, well, God damn it, Brock, take all my money. I'm over Lesnar. And I know he's a draw. I know you could still look at how he affects ticket sales and how he affects, the 15 pay-per-view buys that happen, but there's still a pop there when he's there. I don't get it anymore.
We had a short period of time where Roman had the title that it was, I'm going to defend it every week, that type of thing. And now we're back to the same thing.
Yeah. And here's my thing, too, with putting this belt on Lesnar, right? So the rumor is, he's not going to UFC. The other rumor is he has complete autonomy in this contract to go to UFC. All right. Well, are you really going to put your champ in a position in late January to go into the UFC and potentially and very probably lose to the UFC heavyweight champion? So, I mean, are we taking the belt off him at Rumble? I think that's probably what's going to happen. So he can then go, fight Cormier. If Cormier is not going to take, the Jones fight and become the two-time champ.
Vince and company need to look at some late 90s, early 2000 New Japan and how Antonio Inoki got a serious hard-on for quote-unquote legitimate fighters and sending guys like Koji Kanemoto and Yuji Nagata to MMA and go, do legit shoot fights and watch them get completely stomped.
Yeah. And if you're like, why would you want to send, of all people, your champion, your top guy, to do that? Like, you're making your own business look like a joke, which it is, but at the same time, keep up appearances.
And this isn't Brock of, 15 years ago.
No.
This is kind of beer gut Brock that still is intimidating as hell, but at the same time, like,
Brock, who deserves to be hosting a polka show on RFD TV right now. Which, by the way, if you've never turned on, if you're lucky enough to get RFD TV in your cable or streaming package, turn it on. There's a polka show that comes on at like 3:00 in the afternoon. It's entertaining, and just picture Brock hosting it. Oh yeah, guys, we're gonna introduce this next song. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, that channel. Okay.
Yeah. It's like it's the farming channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like if Farmers Only was a network.
You don't have to be lonely if you watch that channel.
Right. Then we had the World Cup final to determine the best in the world. I think that's the last time I have to say that. Thank God. It's supposed to be The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler, but The Miz is hurt.
Oh, no.
So who would replace him but SmackDown Live Commissioner Shane McMahon, who would go on to win in 2 minutes and 30 seconds to be crowned the winner of the World Cup to determine the best in the world. This is the most McMahon thing that has ever happened in the history of McMahon.
And mind you, Vince McMahon won the ECW title.
I would be down for Do-Rag Vince to have another run with the belt.
Vince McMahon won the 1999 Royal Rumble.
He did. Vince McMahon fought God. But somehow his son is the best in the world. Which lands him a spot, and we'll get to this in a little bit. It lands him a spot, of course, in the SmackDown Survivor Series team. Just as I'm watching these results come through on Friday, I just couldn't believe it. It just didn't seem like it could be real. And then I realized, oh, that's right. They didn't give a fuck about this show. They got the money. Why am I not surprised?
And now I remember, because you had to say that. Now I'm reminded of the last Survivor Series where Shane did the weird double turn and Braun Strowman had to stare for
right.
And nothing happened out of it.
Mm-hmm. Was that also
absolutely nothing?
Was it last year or 2 years ago? We had the Shane concussion in the middle of the match, where he was trying to do coast to coast on Roman, and Roman got up and speared him while he was in midair. And Shane went into full kick out reflex, but they were like, he's eliminated anyway.
Yeah, I think
it was 2 years ago. I feel
yeah.
like. But yeah, so get ready for that. Oh, God. And then in the main event of the evening, going 27 minutes and 45 seconds. D-Generation X defeats the Brothers of Destruction. In 27 minutes and 45 seconds, where the combined age of the match was nearing 200.
God, that's right, too. I thought you were exaggerating for a minute. It's like, no, it's actually...
Oh, at least we can laugh about it now. The only thing really of note in this match that happened is Triple H tore his pec.
Oh, God, that picture the next day.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go to Triple H's Twitter account or Instagram account. I'm sure it's on both. And you can see the giant bruise across his pec and then, into his bicep there from where the rupture and hemorrhage happened. Boy. And also watch the last bit of that match where he's trying to wrestle with one arm. Oh.
There's a spot during that match where apparently you see Triple H, and I think it was after he had gotten hurt, him and Shawn Michaels both, and Shawn just looks over at Triple H and just says literally, I'm too old for this shit.
Oh yeah, that was after the final bell. They were
okay.
They were both up against the bottom turnbuckle, kind of laying there. Yep. Yeah. Truer words have never been spoken. So that was Crown Jewel.
Was it worth it, Sean? Was it?
You got a good payday.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Can make more quality Christian church movies.
Yeah, he and Willie Nelson can. Oh my God, a Shawn Michaels Willie Nelson buddy comedy.
I'd actually enjoy that.
I would
think.
too. I'd watch the hell out of that.
On Hallmark Channel.
Yes. Oh, but no. Yeah.
Can we get a Shawn Michaels Christmas movie?
Just Super Kick Santa.
Or he's like the angel or something like that, to get like, I don't know, Candace Cameron together with Marty Jannetty. I don't know.
Really? Are you really going to stick anyone with Marty Jannetty these days? Maybe his daughter.
That was purely by accident. Sorry, I'm watching a Midnight Rockers match. That's the only reason why that's coming across.
All right.
It's better than Brian Knobbs.
Anything's better than any of the Nasty Boys. Good. I was waiting for you to be like, come on. Good.
No, I've always hated the Nasty Boys.
Good.
Sorry,
because
I know they're big fans of the show, but I've never enjoyed.
I wish I had enough detail on our statistics for this show to drill down and be like, Brian Knobbs downloaded this show. just to see who's listening to us on the road. Drill and be like, look, there's Ziggler.
I don't want to go into great detail of who listens to our podcast and what they're doing while they're listening to our podcast. But
I mean, all right, never mind. Survivor Series is up next. We're just going to bail out of what was getting ready to be just terrible.
Yeah. Terrible
radio. So it's the one time a year where SmackDown fights Raw, except for all those other times a year. Here's what we know so far. Ronda versus Becky. Seth versus Shinsuke. Brock versus AJ for the second year in a row. And congratulations to AJ Styles for hitting the 1 year mark as we record of being WWE champion. Then we've got, of course, the traditional 5-on-5 matches.
Yay.
I know.
I'm a big fan of those.
Yeah, that's the best part of the show, right? Dolph, Drew, Braun, and 2 members of Raw yet to be named with Captain Corbin. No, it's Captain Drew, sorry. Corbin's just there. Take on Team SmackDown, which is The Miz, D-Bry, Shane, Ray, and Samoa Joe. Okay. Then there's the women's elimination match. Team SmackDown, Carmella, Naomi, Sonya Deville, Asuka, and a member to be announced. Take on Team Raw, which is to be announced, to be announced, to be announced, to be announced, and to be announced, led by Captain Alexa Bliss, who will not be competing. Her concussion must be worse than anyone thought it was.
Or they're just taking it easy with her. I mean,
yeah,
she's had a couple other injuries too, so
that's true. Save her until we start ramping to Mania. She's not in the title program right now. There's plenty of other women just floating around doing nothing.
And she's still out there. She's still doing some mic work, which I mean, that's been Alexa's big pull anyway. So.
True. The new Raw Tag Team Champions as of Raw in Manchester Monday night. The Authors of Pain will take on The Bar. Then we have the 5-on-5 tag, which I don't get this, 5-on-5 Survivor Series Tag Team Elimination match. So it's a 10-man elimination match? That would be different. I guess if one member of the team gets pinned, the team is eliminated. That's how I'm assuming they're going to work this.
I'm just trying to think back to when they've done it in the past.
I think it's one member gets pinned, the team is eliminated.
That would go quicker. They've done it both ways, I think. But
well, they're still listing it as a 5-on-5 match, so that's why I'm assuming instead of saying a 10-man.
Yeah.
No teams from Raw announced yet, but from SmackDown, the Usos, The New Day, and then 3 other teams. And then we found out on 205 Live, Buddy Murphy will defend his belt against Mustafa Ali.
That's going to be fun.
That's going to be so good. So that's Survivor Series. That's coming up Sunday before Thanksgiving here in the U.S. the last time I remember what sleep is like for a month. So, yes.
So sorry.
Yep. Speaking of other traditions, Tom, do you know what's coming back in 2019?
What's that, JC?
The Crockett Cup.
He.
So we totally neglected to talk about the NWA 70th anniversary show. Not that there was much of note on that show 2 weeks ago. The only thing of note, Cody losing the NWA championship back to Nick Aldis. So congratulations, Mr. Mickey James. But the big announcement, the Crockett Cup is returning in 2019. There are no details other than that. But it's exciting to see and I realize the Crockett Cup only ran for 3 years, so you can't say it's like a giant tradition, but I mean, it's a big piece of the history of the era of NWA right before WCW, especially here in wrestling in the South.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a huge tag team fan, and the Crockett Cup was always like a cool thing to me because, I mean, the NWA was still territorial at the time. So you'd have like 5 or 6 tag teams that you kind of knew. But they would bring in, they would pair together random tag teams of guys. They would bring in teams that like were from overseas. I mean, like they'd have Japanese teams, they'd have Mexican teams. And it was an opportunity. And usually on like the Saturday night show, you'd get one of these teams show up like, oh, these guys are going to be in a Crockett Cup. You've never seen them before. So it was just kind of cool to see like this new talent come in. You knew they didn't stand a chance because, of course,
right,
some major NWA team is going to win. But
right. Do you think they partner with anyone? Do you think Billy Corgan goes out and tries to partner with Ring of Honor or AAA or CMLL or Rev Pro or anybody to bring people in?
I mean, I don't know how much of a roster he technically has, so I would think he would have to.
Yeah. I just think there's such potential here for the biggest event in recent memory.
Yeah,
this could be giant for professional wrestling fans.
Well, I mean, think about like the tournaments that you have, like the Battle of LA tournament,
yeah,
and stuff like that. I mean, Chikara puts out the
King of Trios,
which brings together all this talent from all over the place. So why not bring all these people together?
God. There's so much potential here, but I'm not going to let myself get excited yet because I don't want to be let down.
I mean, it's still probably going to be a bunch of teams that I've never heard of necessarily, but
I'm good with that though. If you can get a good mix, like you look at what All In did for the likes of God, I can't remember the girl's name. There was one female talent whose name I'm completely blanking on, which is not a good sign for however she got out of that. But no, she's like completely booked up for the next 6 months. And then you look at someone the likes of Marco Stunt, who got way the hell over because of All In. This has the potential to, skyrocket a couple of careers within the indie scene, which is good. And then you pair that with the people who are already, raking in merch money and hella over. It's good for the business. And that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah. It's like you said, it's an opportunity for a not necessarily known talent to get exposed and not necessarily have to put themselves completely over. Like they don't necessarily have to win the tournament, but you have a couple of good matches. That's all you need.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, going back to the Cruiserweight Classic, somebody like Cedric Alexander, that wasn't necessarily a huge name, but had enough of a showing in 2 matches? Like it seemed like, oh, Cedric Alexander, didn't he make it to like the finals? Like, no, he lost like the second round.
Yeah, I want to say it was the second round match against Ibushi, if I remember correctly. that was kind of the big tipping point for him.
They blew the doors off, and the whole thing about him like going back to the dressing room, Triple H coming out.
Yeah. Speaking of the territories, did you see the news about Evolve and WWE's working partnership?
I did see a bit about that.
Yes, so it's expanded greatly. They are now officially kind of, I don't want to call it a talent exchange, but NXT is pumping a lot of talent into Evolve. I know last week we talked about the Street Profits and shit. God, I'm like, my brain is not working tonight. Who is the new Evolve champion? Fabian Eichner. There we go. Took me a second. Both being NXT talents. Well, now we're infusing Evolve with other NXT talent. And it becomes, at this point, kind of seems like the Evolve is now the NXT of NXT.
Yeah, it's good in a way too. It's because again, we've talked about this before. NXT has gotten kind of big for itself almost. The development aspect of it is kind of lost. So to be able to take some of the lesser used talent or people like that and send it, be able to send them to Evolve, get them a little bit of star power, get them working on a regular basis. And
yeah, I think I think the system's in a really good place now. So you've got the Performance Center and the Orlando house shows for people to learn how to work in front of a crowd. Right. Then you'll have Evolve, where they can kind of start to work on who they are, who their character is, in a facility or a manner of, limited production, a little mic work, still working in the ring, eyes watching, now online with WWN Live, and being able to kind of start to develop how to be in that situation. Then you take the transition to NXT, where now you've got the WWE machine fully behind that. You put the rest of the WWE package around that, and then they're ready for the main roster.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really good thing. As much as people want to, I saw so many tweets and so many comments on Reddit and message boards and stuff about, it's just them trying to take over again, or, they're just trying to eat up all the indies. Yeah, they're kind of cannibalizing one a little bit here, but I think it's also very good because Gabe Sapolsky can still go out and sign talent for WWN and for Evolve that can now have the access to this WWE talent to be put with them, to learn from them, to be exposed to a broader audience who will now be watching, because people will want to watch Evolve more now that they know NXT superstars are there. And so that becomes a feeder system yet again. So it's almost like NXT is the 6:05 Saturday night show to the indies.
Right. And that's to their advantage too, because more eyes on indie workers are going to do nothing but help them. Even if it doesn't necessarily lead to a WWE contract or anything like that, it's going to get them either more shots on the indies, locally that way, or potentially be able to, tour, hit the UK, be able to hit Japan, things like that.
Exactly. WWE is no longer the be all end all in professional wrestling. Like, you can, if you're able to make a name for yourself, you're gonna have a very comfortable life as an independent wrestler. But this just gives you that exposure and that path to get the exposure or join WWE. Either way, I think it's a really good thing.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's talk about another big event that's coming up. The 13th annual Wrestle Kingdom, live from Tokyo Dome, January 4th at way too early in the morning.
Looking forward to 3 a.m. and that New Japan Rumble.
That's your favorite part.
It is.
That's me still sleeping time.
You got to remember, I got into New Japan in the late 90s.
Yeah, and that's those dudes.
When the Rumble happens, it's those guys. When Kojima comes out and Tenzan and
As they come hobbling out of the dugout.
Yeah.
It's
Masahiro Chono. Look, yay!
So the press conference for Wrestle Kingdom 13 happened this week after Destruction. So here are the matches we know so far. The top matches for Wrestle Kingdom 13. Of course, after his win in the G1 and holding the briefcase, Hiroshi Tanahashi will be cashing in to challenge Kenny Omega for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. I don't know how I feel about this match. I'm not feeling a 5-star classic out of this. I love Tanahashi, but he's getting older, man.
And they've made a point where Kenny's mentioned that, like, Tanahashi wrestles an older style. And it's almost basically saying that, you know, your prime is past. You're a little bit out of date. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll see something a little different from him.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. Tetsuya Naito has been granted a match at the IWGP Intercontinental Championship against Chris Jericho, the champion. Jericho was already flying back and missed the press conference and then proceeded to tweet, they can't say they're going to make that match because I just don't have to show up. There's something I'm completely paraphrasing.
He defended it once. He can go another 6 months.
Yeah. He's got to start working on his next cruise. He needs another cruise success. Kazuchika Okada will take on the Switchblade Jay White, also known as Knife Pervert, which is still the greatest internet nickname I've ever seen. That'll be fun. I'm down with that. I thought Jay White improved so much when he was in Ring of Honor on his excursion, but just the last 6 months, I think he's really coming to his own in New Japan.
It's so weird. I saw on Reddit. It was, I forget what card it was, but like say 2 years ago, let's say, and it was an 8-man tag team match, and there was the Young Lions against, you know,
Liger and
yeah.
Tiger Mask.
And the 4 Young Lions were Sho, Yo,
Finlay.
David Finlay,
yep. I was gonna say it has to be Finlay.
and Jay White.
Yep. That's awesome.
It's like, oh, look at them.
Look at the babies. The IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship will be on the line when Kushida defends it against Taiji Ishimori. I'm good with this. I'm good with that match.
Yeah, Ishimori is like, I haven't seen that much of him before he came over and became Bone Soldier.
Can we just can that gimmick just die, please? Dear
that mask is cool as hell, though.
It is. I just need Bone Soldier to die.
But yeah, I've enjoyed seeing what little I've seen of him so far. So
speaking of Bone Soldier, where the fuck is Captain New Japan these days?
I don't know.
What happened to him? It's like the Bone Soldier thing ended and he just disappeared. Anyway.
Well, you know why?
Oh, God.
He was a very bad wrestler.
What? No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Say it isn't so. And then we have our annual clusterfuck for the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. This year it's only a 3-way. Suzuki Goons, Kanemaru, and El Desperado take on Sho and Yo versus Bushi and Shingo Takagi of LIJ.
Which was basically the end of the junior tag league.
Yep.
Again, so.
Yep.
And that match was a good match, so, I mean,
yeah,
all 6 of these guys can work well together.
Card shaping up well. Feeling good about it.
We got to have our never open weight 6-man gauntlet match. The neverweight belts, or
Or has it been for the 6-man? I thought it was just for the IWGP heavyweight belts.
No, it's been with
Is
the
it for
6-man.
the Never? God,
Yeah.
I forgot those belts existed. Because every time you look, they're on somebody different. What a waste of a set of belts.
Well, they're 6-man belts to begin with. Come on.
I know, but I mean, like you're in a promotion with such heavy reliance on factions. You could really build one of them to be just a killer faction with that, but no, we just change them every major show. I don't feel like these belts are helping anyone. Like, and I'm a firm believer in the man makes the belt doesn't make the man. But these belts are like they're hurting everybody. These belts are making them in because they're just hurting them because you look like an idiot. Wins and losses should matter, and of all places, they should matter in New Japan. And if you're just constantly trading the belts, it's just they don't matter.
Do you know who currently hold those belts?
I have no idea right now.
The Bullet Club OGs hold the belts.
Oh, good.
So it's Tamatonga, Tagaloa, and Ishimori.
You mean Bullet Club Wolfpack? Let's run Bullet Club into the ground now because that's what they're trying to do. Ugh.
Yeah, at first I thought it was the Fale Tonga Loa group, but no, they had it before. Then they ended up losing it to Marty Scurll and the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
And then in August, the Bullet Club OGs took the belts, and they've held it for 88 days.
Wow. It could be the longest retention of those belts ever.
With one defense.
Wow. I think that's a record.
The record for most defenses of the never openweight 6-man tag team belts.
It's got to be 2.
3.
So here's the thing. When do we see the emails leak between Harold May and their TV provider talking about don't hire Vince Russo, but then somebody finds out Vince Russo is actually booking just this belt? Because I feel like it's going to happen.
It's fun, though.
It's not. It's pointless. That's how I feel about it.
It lets people who never have a belt hold a belt.
Oh, God. Not
Gave
everyone
Bad
needs
Luck
a
Fale
belt.
a belt.
Ugh, God. Really?
Made
The fuck does
Toriano
Fale...
a champion.
Why does Fale need a belt?
We just need Taguchi Japan to win.
Fine.
I do enjoy them.
I do too.
And
I don't enjoy them as much now that Ricochet's not there. But I still enjoy them.
So I was looking, I've been hitting New Japan World 2 and seeing older Taguchi matches. That man had a wicked afro. When he was doing the Apollo 55 with Fergal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just the bell bottoms and the afro. Yeah.
So good. When he was with the real rock and roller.
The weapon was still funky, though.
The weapon will always be funky.
So.
Uh-oh.
All right. So they're doing the Junior Tag League. And Taguchi's teaming with, oh, God, he was Black Tiger before. Was it AGH?
Yeah.
So the two of them are teaming.
ACH.
And
there we go.
yeah, some letters.
I almost said JTG.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Anyway.
Okay.
So they're teaming up and they're wrestling against Liger and Tiger Mask.
All right.
And they're goofing the entire time, pretty much. At the end of the match, and I can't really explain why. Again, 4 guys that are in 2 guys that are in masks that are communicating silently. Liger goes over, for whatever reason, like looks Taguchi up and down, grabs his tights, pulls them out, looks in to see what's in his tights, lets go, throws up the X, and leaves the ring. I have to find the clip for you.
Yeah,
and I will find it. But
I need to see that. That sounds freaking brilliant. It's a good spot. All right, Tom, we're coming near the end of the evening, but I don't want to let this slide this week. The Wrestler Death Clock has reset, as it does every week on this show.
Yes.
Jose Lothario passed away this past week.
He did.
I know nothing about him. So the floor is yours.
Okay. Yeah, I'm the history guy. Jose Lothario was I wouldn't say he was a huge star, but I mean he was at his best a headliner in Texas for the promotions there. Did some stuff in World Class, working for Fritz von Erich. I think he did some other stuff and some of the other promotions in Texas, but he was a popular wrestler. Never got like huge mainstream, anything like that, but in the Texas area, he was big enough. His main claim to fame was getting a wrestling school where he developed some talent, mainly one Shawn Michaels, who would then take on Lothario as a mentor, where Lothario was actually kind of his storyline manager in his first big like singles face run, when he ended up winning the world title at the Royal Rumble. Did he win the title at the Rumble? I don't know, but just around that time when he won the title, yeah, it was the one that was at the Rumble that was in San Antonio, like the whole spiel. But so that's how I mainly got exposed to him. He was kind of a background guy when I was watching like World Class, but I got exposed to him as the guy who pretty much made Shawn Michaels. So apparently a good amount of friends in the business, and I saw a lot of wrestlers that shared positive stories about him, so he'll be missed in the wrestling community.
Yes. Any parting thoughts for the folks at home, Tom, who are enjoying us on this beautiful fall Thursday morning here in North Carolina and around the world?
I said I was going to throw a plug, and I shall.
That's right.
So upcoming this weekend, if you're in the Durham area, or even if you're just somewhere in the proximity in general, come on out to NC Comic-Con, which will be taking place Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll be having lots of comic artists, retailers, all kinds of stuff, cosplayers. If you want to dress up and like look like a superhero, come on down. You just want to see people that are dressed up like superheroes, come on down. It's really a good time. And again, locally run, focus on the creators instead of just, pay $50 to get in and then pay another $50 for an autograph, that type of thing. No, here it's, come on in and meet the people that draw your favorite comics, and maybe pick up some art, or just have maybe them do a commission for you, that type of thing. But not only that, there's a big the Carolina Theater nearby is showing a bunch of movies, things like Mallrats, the 30th anniversary of Willow. My wife is saying stuff to me like I can hear her in these headphones, but she's trying to plug stuff to me. Well, hold on a second.
What,
what, hon?
In Gremlins 2.
Yes.
Gremlins 2 and Willow get you free prints.
Gremlins 2 and Willow will get you free prints.
Ooh.
Not the guy from Minnesota. He's dead.
Well, he's dead.
But, the actual, but stuff to put on your wall.
Yeah. What website can people go to buy tickets or find out more information?
You can go to nccomiccon.com. You can go to any Ultimate Comics location, buy your tickets there. You can also buy tickets at the door, but we generally recommend buying them ahead of time because lines can be long, especially on the weekend. Yep. So if you buy your tickets ahead of time, then you don't have to worry about waiting in line so that you can buy a ticket, then waiting another line to get in, that type of thing.
On Sunday, all veterans get in for free.
On Sunday, which is technically Veterans Day, although it's observed on a Monday, all veterans get in for free. So
Nice.
if you've served in the military, come on down and enjoy comics and all that kind of fun on the weekend there.
Awesome. Sounds like fun.
So, yeah, I'll be hiding in some room where you won't find me, but my wife will be around taking pictures and things like that. So if you want your picture taken, look for my wife running around and
Cool
just
deal.
taking all kinds of pictures.
Fun. Cool. All right. Gonna plug yourself too?
Well, don't you?
Yeah, tell
There's
the people-
usually words
Do you
that
want
you
me to-
say. That,
I was trying to keep it like smooth, but you can also tell the people where they can find you on the internet, Tom.
there we go. Go on the Twitter machine at Mr. Workrate, at MR Workrate. Don't go anywhere else. Again, my Instagram is like no pictures that I know of, except for like scars, and I think I took a picture recently, but I don't remember what it was. So if it takes me that long to figure out what the hell I'm actually putting there, just do Twitter. Really, I put pictures on Twitter that I don't put on like Instagram, and you're supposed to put the pictures on Instagram. So whatever.
Yes. You can find me, JC, on the internet at JCBobbitt, JCBOBBITT, wherever finer social media is purveyed. You can find the show on Twitter at CheatersInVRPen. I would like to give a shout out to, apparently we're now listed on the Daily Smark as a featured podcast.
All right.
Yeah, and I actually went through this site because I'm going to be 100% honest, even if they're listening. Until they added us and then started tweeting about us, I'd never heard of this website. But it's a really, really neat news aggregator for wrestling news across the world, as well as MMA and boxing news, too. So anything in combat sports, it's a really good place to go. And if you click on their podcast tab, all of our new podcasts are automatically listed there, which is kind of cool. Alongside, here are the people we're listed alongside, Tom. The Ross Report, Talk is Jericho, all the PW Torch shows, the Steve Austin Show. Let's see what else. Lanny Poffo's podcast. Yeah, and then Cheap Heat. Let's see what else. And there's a bunch of other kind of independent podcasts, much like us, that are out there. They're listed here too. A lot of great content at thedailysmark.com.
We are the literal equivalent of those people.
Yeah.
Me and Steve Austin are at the same level.
I need your Steve Austin impersonation now then.
God damn dumb son of a bitch. What?
Okay.
What?
That's what I heard.
What?
That's what I heard in my head.
What?
That's what I had heard
What?
when I was thinking about when you were going to do it. That's what I heard.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So thanks to them for kind of finding us and adding us. I think that's pretty awesome. So thanks to those guys at thedailysmark.com.
If you would like to put us on your news aggregator,
send me.
just do it. Don't even ask. Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah. You don't need our permission. Just don't rehost the content because give me them clicks, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll do it. Facebook. We're on Facebook too. Facebook.com/cheatersneverpinned. Yeah, that'll do it. So next week we'll be back with more talk about Survivor Series coming up. Maybe we'll try to find the best deals in wrestling for Black Friday. I don't know. I'm trying to think of bits.
That sounds like a thing.
Sounds like a fun thing.
Or shopping.
We could do the top 5 things you should buy a wrestling fan this holiday.
Deodorant. Tell me I'm wrong, JC.
Pancake mix.
That sounds like a bit, and I'm not sure where it's going.
Yeah, we're doing the bit I was going to say we were doing next week. All right. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening to another episode of the Cheaters Never Pin podcast. My name is JC.
I'm Tom.
And we'll catch you on the flip side.